All right, looks like we're live. I'm just sending the invite link out. I had a little hiccup here. That's all right. All right, I'm going to invite people in. I'm inviting our guests, and then we'll go ahead. So, absolutely live. Shit, I should get the show going. I don't have the usual theme, but we always start with a wrestling theme. So I'm going to start with this one, if you recognize it. Can you hear the song?
I can't.
Darn. It's not playing as well from my phone. I'm trying. It's supposed to be Almost's theme.
Oh, God, why do we have to do that?
I know, right? Well, because apparently we're on the road to Almost Mania, baby.
Bum.
Oh, and here we are live on the War Report. I hope everybody's having a good Tuesday so far.
So you mentioned that.
When they who was it? Was it Ryan that sent that graphic, the official WrestleMania? It's all Ryan's fault.
Blame it on the interns.
Damn it, Ryan. Why'd you have to ruin our fun? Oh, speaking of Ryan, it was all your fault. You're the one that posted the Almost graphic.
That it was done by WWE. It was already in motion. I couldn't stop that train.
Well, you kept it in motion, so it's your fault.
Hey Tara, yeah, everything's okay. Here's the deal. Steve has to work on the last day of the month, and he's usually the one that sets up the streams. So I'll be honest with you.
We're not as cool as Steve.
Yeah, Steve is really good at that. So like I selected 7 o'clock instead of 6 o'clock on the drop down thingy. And then when you get too close to 6 o'clock, it won't let you change it. And then it would let me change to like 6:15. So I just had to delete that whole other show and start a new one. So here we are.
Delete.
Yeah, I had to seriously but we're here. We're here talking all things WrestleMania as we come up on the big event itself, the 2 nights. What should we start
Hollywood
with? Yeah, it's going to Hollywood. Well, they filmed or they showed another of the they showed another of those WrestleMania promos, this time with Bianca and
Montez.
Wow, I knew it was an M, and I don't know why I was blanking on Montez, but it was Bianca and Montez doing the Titanic.
It's the Titanic thing that fucked you up because, who gives a shit about Titanic?
Yeah, right. Just the biggest movie of all time in 1996, but now I guess kind of
biggest movie up until Avatar, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's a James Cameron world. What can I tell you?
It is. It's James Cameron's world. We're all just living in it, man.
Everyone loves James Cameron except Linda Hamilton.
Did
you miss me?
Yes, absolutely. No, I'm glad we had more people here because initially when I first started the stream and it was just me, I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to do this whole thing by myself and talk about Almost Mania.
You do stand up, but you can turn that into a joke.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but usually you turn tragedies into jokes, and this is, this might
is a
be
Titanic level tragedy.
Yeah, this is our 9/11. As a wrestling, this is our personal 9/11. Almost versus Brock Lesnar. Where were you?
Oh,
where were you? Oh my God!
They were under everybody's radar.
Where were you when we were getting high?
But we had a SmackDown happen. We had Rampage happen. We had Monday Night Raw happen, and they're setting the table for WrestleMania. I kind of said this in the chat, and a few of us maybe have said this. They're not really blowing me away with this year's WrestleMania. I don't know what it is. Like the matches are not really doing it for me so far.
What is it? Why is Omos getting another WrestleMania match against a decent wrestler. Last year it was freaking Bobby Lashley. This year it's Brock Lesnar. And the fact
Bobby
that
Lashley made sense though.
right, but the fact
There
that
was
I
something to it.
Brock Lesnar as a decent wrestler, that's killing me in itself too. To even have to say that like the high caliber wrestler in this match is Brock Lesnar.
Hey, during his original run, Brock was a machine back in the day.
That original run was about the same time as that Titanic.
I was just gonna say, do you know how long ago that was? I was in.
I know.
I don't even want to say what grade I was in. Holy sheesh.
I was in college. Okay, that's a long time ago. My free range children were not even a thought yet.
A long time ago.
Yeah, bye, Miss American Pie.
Oh my god, dude. But so it's not just that one. As a joke or a meme, like a match that is. We're just kind of. I'm going to go right into a little bit of everything here.
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw, we have Finn Balor challenging Edge again.
Yeah.
Why? Somebody tell me why.
I have no idea.
No idea.
End this feud or what?
It's the feud that will never end. It goes on and on.
That's what it feels like. That's for damn sure.
I'm going to inject a lethal dose of poison. Bring in Sherry Lewis. Lamb chop will be the lethal injection of poison.
She's dead again too, isn't she, Sherry?
I think she's dead too.
That was really bad. Sorry.
That poor sock hasn't talked in years.
That would be funny. Not it would be a fun drop into the Firefly Funhouse, though. I'm not gonna lie.
God.
Let's talk about that because I know I was just gonna complain about Edge and Finn Balor, but it kind of makes sense because they've got some sort of feud or history going on. Yeah. Why the fuck do we have Bobby Lashley against Bray Wyatt? Somebody tell me why.
Now you sound like Bobby Brown.
But yeah, it just doesn't.
Nothing's making sense.
It's not making sense, man. That's the thing. It's just not making.
I don't know where the tie-in is, but I did appreciate the Muscle Man dance coming back.
The Muscle Man dance did come back. That's the only positive I think I can take from that. But it's just like
it's Bray, so anything he's gonna do is perfect,
But that's the thing. So Bray Wyatt came back to a lot of hype and hoopla, introduced this new character, Captain Howdy, reintroduced the puppets as like life-size people now, had a Mountain Dew match with LA Knight, and then has done WrestleMania will be his second match in like a calendar year.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But where are we go? Like, I just feel like, okay, well, we got to wait. Bray Wyatt leaves us clues and this and that, and there's a segment every week. All right, but where's it going? We've had 6 months of this, and there's no reveal. Nobody's the higher power. Nobody's taking the mask off. Like, we got to have at WrestleMania, we got to have something, or I'm going to, I'm starting to lose faith. I'm already
there has to be some payoff.
Exactly. There has to be payoff.
Just please, for the love of God, don't say the higher power, because I don't need Vince McMahon going, it's me, Bray.
I was Captain Howdy all along.
Yeah, right. I'm having bad enough thinking that it's Bo Dallas. I don't need to think that it's Vince McMahon.
Did I mention this last week that there's speculation that Captain Howdy could be Jay White from New Japan?
No, I didn't hear that one.
I think I heard him coming in, but not as Uncle Howdy.
So I had this. I saw it floated online that potentially, like right now, yes, it's Bo Dallas portraying Captain Howdy, but Uncle Howdy. I'm sorry, Captain Howdy is House of a Thousand Corpses. No, that's Captain Spaulding.
That's
I don't know.
Captain Howdy's like a legitimate children's program, I think, from the 50s. I don't know.
That was Howdy Doody.
That was Howdy Doody.
You're mixing Captain Kangaroo and Howdy Doody.
Yes, there it is. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Holy shit. We figured it out. Where does Bozo the Clown factor into all this?
Doink.
He's wrestling Brock Lesnar.
Yo, all right, so right now,
Cat got it.
right now, Bo Dallas is playing Uncle Howdy, but it's a mask. Also, he's been using the Sister Abigail, which is the same move with a different name that Jay White uses as a finisher that he calls the Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
So people might be thinking, what if WrestleMania Captain Howdy comes out, hits the Sister Abigail on
Uncle
Bobby
Howdy.
Lashley or Bray Wyatt, takes the Howdy mask off, and instead of Bo Dallas, it's Jay White from New Japan. Holy shit!
But Jay White is a lot smaller.
He is. You'd notice immediately that it was somebody
Bo
different.
Dallas. I mean, that size.
But is Bo Dallas an exciting option?
No.
Like, what's
Not
the
really.
payoff of if Uncle Howdy is getting unmasked, or if Uncle Howdy is somehow involved in this whole conspiracy or whatever we're going to call it, storyline, horror movie? If he doesn't get unmasked and it's Bo Dallas, what's the pay? Was it all in Bray's mind? Was it like Bray split in two and it's two parts of his personality? Do we need Leslie Nielsen back out to find the goddamn fake Undertaker? Like, what are we?
I mean,
Steve's going to be listening.
Titanic.
Steve is going to be listening to this at work, getting so mad that I'm talking shit about Bray Wyatt. I want to believe in Bray Wyatt, but I also think that maybe he should write a horror movie, like a real, just like a real horror. Instead of doing this, write a real horror movie.
I'm wondering how much creative he actually may have gotten in this contract, because it seems like he had more freedom when he was the Fiend than what he has right now.
Yeah, I wonder in the Fiend. Well, the Fiend is when Vince was around.
Right, but we all know that wasn't Vince McMahon's brainchild. There's no way Vince McMahon could come up with that shit. This seems almost like what Vince McMahon would have done if he was running the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
I mean, I hate to float a conspiracy theory that everybody says is not true, but with the booking of Omos and Brock Lesnar and a few other weird things that have happened lately, it really feels like, okay, I'm not saying that Vince McMahon is back in charge or anything.
He's
but
whispering in people's ears.
I feel like he's writing little Post-it notes and like handing them off to somebody who runs down the hall with him.
With strongly worded threats. Hey, pal, I need Omos and Brock in a match. That's some good shit, right?
It would be so much fun. Like, I would love it if he just gave like a CD or a floppy disk to Hunter, and Hunter has to find something to put this CD or floppy disk in, and all it is the Brock Lesnar versus Omos graphic that Vince McMahon made himself in like an old version of Photoshop.
No,
it's like, I made this for WrestleMania.
I have made this, pal. There's application on my.
We're gonna put this one right on the fridge, buddy. It's gonna go on the fridge. I swear. Like,
in the meeting, he's sitting there. Yeah, I thought of that match. Good shit.
I don't know. What do you guys think about this rumor here? Uncle Howdy. Oh, yes, Tara keeps reminding me it's Uncle Howdy. I've slipped like 6 or 7 times. Jesus.
It would at least be a reveal.
Yeah.
It would be something different than everybody assuming it's his brother.
Right. And that's kind of the thing, is like it's not, everybody's kind of guessed that it was him. You know what I mean? So like maybe they throw a little swerve in there, but
at the rate it's going at right now, with how predictable this WrestleMania is becoming, there needs to be some type of swerve or some type of thing that we didn't see coming, because this is becoming as predictable as WrestleMania 9, which is pretty damn scary.
Yeah, this is becoming, especially with, they seem intent on going full steam ahead about, and I'm not going to complain about Cody and Roman, but they've thought of this idea almost a year ago, and they haven't deviated from it, even based on the crowd reactions that somebody like a Sami Zayn gets. Yeah. And they had this idea for the Usos to take the tag title, lose the tag titles to Owens and Sammy. for whatever 6 months time, and they're just going forward with that, and it just everything just seems lockstep. Like we're not gonna.
Oh, so you didn't hear the rumor that came out yesterday?
What's the rumor?
Your favorite word for a main event at WrestleMania? Triple threat.
I mean, you know what?
I didn't see that.
That was on Wrestling News Source yesterday, that there's rumors going around of making it Sammy, Cody, and Roman.
Maybe, man.
Quite
All right,
possible.
so
Yeah, but if they do that, you're going to lose the crowd completely if freaking Cody wins that.
Well, see, that's the weird thing is that
Sami Zayn has become the new Daniel Bryan. You cannot do it again.
No, I agree. And that's why this Cody thing, like, I don't begrudge Cody. Any other year, like even if it was this year and Sami Zayn didn't get hot, I'd go, okay, this is Cody's year.
Right.
But like, damn, dude, like just a way to handicap a guy who's and all right, I need to address this too, because we discuss wrestling as fans, but we also take it backstage and kind of behind the scenes. We look at ratings, we look at this and that. And one of the things that I've seen from internet fans is stuff like this. Oh, well, Brock Lesnar versus Omos makes sense because Brock probably just wants to work a short match at WrestleMania, and then he can just go out there and do 5 minutes, and then he can just do it in the first hour of WrestleMania and go home because, Brock doesn't like to work a heavy schedule, so it'll just work out better for him. And like, oh, well, Cody has to win because he's like the new face of the company, and we have to make this new face of the company because we're trying to sell the company. And it's like, are any of you motherfuckers stockholders? Why do you care about whether or not Brock Lesnar likes having a wrestling within the first hour of a show or wants to wrestle Omos because it's an easier match than Bobby Lashley? We shouldn't. What you should care about is, does this match make me want to watch WrestleMania? And I know there's 52,000 seats sold over 2 nights, and there's 105,000 people or whatever it is who are gonna be there and gonna be excited. But like, god damn, Brock Lesnar versus Omos ain't it. Edge versus Finn Balor for the 87th time in 12 months ain't it. We got to do some work in the next 5 weeks. How's it going, Steve?
If we're getting another Finn Balor match,
goddamn.
We need
sorry, just to emphasize really quick. You said, how's it going, Steve? Eric, wrong Jew. Okay.
Right.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Okay, Albert Clippard.
Right. Oh my God. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm feeling not super psyched about this WrestleMania right now. Like, I'm sure, it's WrestleMania. It's always going to be good to an extent. How many, aside from the pandemic WrestleMania, I mean, there were a handful of stinkers, but like there's still like good matches and stuff, even amongst the bad WrestleManias. So we'll probably have a good WrestleMania, but like, I don't think it's the optimized, best possible version of the WrestleMania we could have had,
No,
it's not the WrestleMania standard is probably the best way of saying it.
Yeah. Even
that it's going to be 2 nights of this bullshit.
Yeah. At least it's not a 12-hour event where you have to sit there and throughout the entire day to see the main event.
Yeah, that's
last full day WrestleMania was that was a drag. Not gonna lie there.
But then, so there are some people though that are complaining that WrestleMania is shorter and that they won't get on the show and that they won't get their WrestleMania payday.
Cry me a river.
I know. So here's the thing. I understand from knowing some guys. Yeah. But they used to do this pre-show battle royal thing to get everybody on the show. Everybody worked WrestleMania, even if it was in a small capacity, as kind of a thank you. You got your WrestleMania bonus for working the show, and you got whatever residuals you got from being on WrestleMania because it was the big one. So even if you didn't work other pay-per-views of the year, if you worked WrestleMania, you'd still get a little something in your pocket. Now I think that's gone the way of the dodo.
Good. Let's go back to it old school, that if it was like 1 through 10, like everything, if you were not the it person, you weren't on the card.
And you took the words right out of my mouth.
You know, you knew WrestleMania time. You were going to get your Hulk Hogan's, your Macho Man's, your Ultimate Warrior when he was around. You would get your mid-carders like the Big Boss Man, Mr. Perfect, but you would get quality. Even the shit matches were good matches. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm trying to think of what the heck the match was. Like, I think it was it's either 6 or 7. But there's a match between like the Oriented Express and the Rockers.
6.
Thank you. It went like a 10-minute long match, and that was your shit card match. And it's probably still one of the, because obviously it out wrestled Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. That was all just pop. But
Yeah.
It's a freaking amazing match between the four of them because they came to show. The Rockers weren't on the card in WrestleMania 5, even though that they were contracted in WrestleMania 5.
Well, they lost to the Twin Towers that one.
Oh, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. But then again, that was Akeem. Who pays attention to that?
It was a squash, you know.
Right. Well, the year before, he was the one-man gang competing in the championship against Randy Savage. But you know what? I mean? Even that was how many years ago? We could still name the wrestlers and the matches that were in it because we knew everything.
They mattered.
I mean, we had Hillbilly Jim and King Kong Bundy and a bunch of midgets, and it was still, and it was still like, you know,
that was
it was
memorable.
Yeah, we had Brutus the Barber Beefcake going face after losing with what was it? Dino Bravo, I think was his partner. Or was it Greg Valentine?
I think so.
Oh, Greg Valentine. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But then, you know, he turns and then he joins Roddy Piper to shave Adrian Adonis's head. We were babies, and we were you weren't even born yet.
Right?
Depends on the year, yeah.
No, you're right though. That stuff was memorable. Like, I don't like the Omos thing. Like, for me, that's a Raw match. That's like a
right.
Yeah.
You know, like I understand it's the spectacle of Brock giving him up for the F5. I understand that, but where does it go? That's the only thing about that. Like,
that's a pre-show match to me.
Yeah,
Put that on the pre-show.
Yeah.
That's a warm-up match on Raw for Brock to face Lashley.
Oh, that,
you know,
yeah.
Like, Brock Lashley should have not happened at Elimination Chamber. They should have waited a little and done like a Hell in a Cell at Mania.
Yeah.
Or at least have another match. I mean, it was a part of a DQ finish, right?
Yeah, it was a shitty shitty finish.
It on.
And then where do they come up with Bray versus Lashley? I don't.
All right, yeah. Before you logged in, we were talking about that too. Is like, how do we determine? Before it just turned into me bitching about Bray Wyatt for a little bit.
I don't understand that. I feel like it's not the type of opponent for Bray.
No, I was saying the same thing.
Bray uses the numbers game and it puts the Hurt Business together.
But this is because this is what sucks. Like Vince had said, this is only going to be Bray's second match since he's been back. Bray Wyatt has probably one of the most abysmal WrestleMania records.
Yeah.
For how high a caliber, like off the top of my head, the only thing I can remember one that he won was like the Firefly Funhouse match against John Cena. I mean, he may have won others, but he has a horrible WrestleMania record. So you have to let Bray win this over Bobby Lashley. What the hell does this do for Bobby Lashley except have a Hurt Business reunion, after the match? Because you can't let Bray lose this match.
No, you can't. Not at all.
They always put Bray against another person that can't afford to lose. They always do that with Bray.
The one time they didn't, they put him against Cena at WrestleMania in New Orleans at WrestleMania like 30. Bray Wyatt's fictional home at the time was like the swamplands of New Orleans. They had a live band playing the original Bray Wyatt song while he was walking to the ring, and they just jobbed him the fuck out to Johnson. Like, the whole place was like, they go, and from the bayous of New Orleans, and the whole place goes, wah! And Bray Wyatt gets this huge pop when he comes out. Everybody's got their masks on and they're oh my God. And then he just loses. And his literally from WrestleMania 30 on, and this is going on 8 or 9 years later, he's never gotten that momentum back.
Nope.
Even when he was world champion, he didn't get the momentum back because he lost to fucking Goldberg.
And then even his last WrestleMania, like, first off, the fact that they started that WrestleMania with Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt was kind of weird.
Yeah.
And then the Alexa Bliss turn made no sense. So that in itself ended up not taking anything away from Randy Orton, because Randy Orton, we all know, is like fucking amazing. But I know Randy Orton has an injury right now, Alex. Thank you. But it took away from, it destroyed everything.
Yeah.
I don't understand
what's on his way out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was when, he kind of knew, they kind of knew he was on his way out, so they just finished off that thing, never to be spoken of again. I mean, the Fiend, they've pretty much said, and I think Bray Wyatt's pretty much said as such, the Fiend is dead. Like, that shit's gone. Like, they're not going back to it.
I think that hurts Bray, actually.
I think whatever, I'm going to sound a lot like an old TV theme here, but whatever happened to predictability with Bray Wyatt? Like, can he just be the guy with the
Eric,
shirt?
I knew Eric was going to do it. He was going to continue the theme song.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, everywhere you look, Bray Wyatt needs to.
It's a hand to hold on to.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt needs something to hold on to, like the lantern. Everywhere you.
It's all right. It's a rare condition this day and age.
To read any good news on the
newspaper page. Exactly. Oh, Alex is trying to show you his Randy Orton, Vince. He's calling your name.
Look at that. I love that.
Oh, what are you doing? Oh, sorry. He was doing something else. I'm sorry. Come here. You can do it again. Come here.
What's he doing?
He's doing the Orton.
He's doing the DX.
He went from the Orton to DX.
So Vince, you mentioned Edge versus Balor for like the millionth time. Like, like I said last week, Judgment Day practically doesn't need to be a thing anymore. I'm sorry. Like,
it's not gonna be, man. After WrestleMania,
she's got her sights on the women's championship against Charlotte.
They'll be moving to SmackDown.
I would think they're gonna finally do the Ray Dominic thing, and like, as far as I'm concerned, Edge and Beth got their moment and they won the feud. And I mean, I don't mind Edge on WrestleMania at all. Don't get me wrong, but I don't need to see that again.
Yeah, you're wasting Edge's little career.
I know. He's even talking about it.
And as much as I despise Austin Theory, like, as the character, because he's obviously doing a good job, at being the heel and everything like that, I don't need Austin Theory versus John Cena either.
Well, actually, John Cena's gonna face
that was more understandable.
Why? Why?
I mean, over Edge and Finn Balor.
Right? No, but what I mean, like, so what? So either John Cena's going to lose to Austin Theory 9 times out of 10, because John Cena cannot commit to a full-time U.S. title reign unless he's going to drop it the next night to somebody else, which again seems stupid. And
Logan Paul,
Austin Theory can be competing against plenty of other people and put him in a quality match.
Yeah,
because it's Hollywood, and we all wanted The Rock. We're settling with John Cena.
I think we still would have got Cena, even if they got The Rock.
What's weird?
The Rock should face Logan Paul. Okay, Alex.
You know what's weird though? That there's like so many instances, like we were just talking about the first Bray versus Cena match where Bray should have won, like Cena should have lost. Is it weird that this is the one time that even though I know Cena will and should lose, I still want him to win because I can't stand Theory.
But that's exactly my point, because we want Austin Theory to drop. It's gonna be a Zack Ryder type thing. You win for one night, you drop the next night.
What do you guys think if they would have went with Edge versus Theory, but at WrestleMania instead of that Raw last week?
I would have been perfectly okay with that.
That's fine, because it saves us from the Edge versus Finn Balor match again,
and saves us from a 5-minute spot from John Cena.
Yeah. Oh my God. The funniest thing is Finn's like, you might have gotten me the last 36 times we wrestled, but I got you the next one at WrestleMania. It's like,
You
what?
may have got me every other time up until now, and the other time, and that time, but this
But you'll
time,
never get me
got your
pot of
number.
gold.
They may take our lives, but they won't take my title.
You'll never take me Lucky Charm.
They're magically delicious, you darn kids.
You just sounded like Jimmy O'Fallon there, Vince.
Serious, I did, yeah. New setup, yeah. The basement flooded last month, and now I finally have all my shit back up. So the basement's back together. It's a little different. And I'm sorry, I apologize. All these comments, I'm really bad at them. As much as I didn't want Ray Dominic, now I feel like I need to see it. And I know that was kind of the thing. It's like, oh, you never want to see the father against the son thing, but we all knew it was coming. And they're finally giving us a little incentive for it. Like, you know, they've been building toward it, you know, for the last couple months now. And I think it's way
I like the build, though.
Dominic's way better now in his current role.
And we're still waiting for that moment where Ray finally like hits him. Like we were teased it. We almost got it recently.
Well, because it's very reminiscent of Bret Hart. I'm never gonna wrestle my brother. You know what I mean? Like he was like adamant he was never gonna wrestle Owen again, and then Owen kicked his leg out of his leg
until he scooped his leg at the Royal Rumble.
I kicked your leg out of your leg.
Your leg out of your leg via the Quebecers. Try saying that.
Yeah, that was a weird because that was a Survivor Series with all the Hart brothers together.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first time, and then they got back together, and then they tag teamed at the Rumble to try and take on the Quebecers.
Oh, right, and that was
when his leg went up for the Survivor Series. Owen was the only Hart eliminated,
right?
Which is scary in itself, but you know.
Considering the other three of them look like fucking substitute teachers, and then you have Owen and Bret
I think one of them is a teacher too. That's
you know
even hilarious.
Like,
Keith was the one that was the odd man out. At least Bruce had been a fairly big time player in Stampede.
Right, but the one of them came out with the 80s math teacher mustache. You know what I mean? Like he came out.
That was Keith.
Keith was that one.
Poor Keith.
He looked like Gomez Adams.
You're giving him credit. He didn't have that much hair. Gomez had way more hair.
But that mustache and everything, and that like he ran like.
Oh my god!
I don't know how we got here. You know what? At the very least, we're going to get 2 good women's matches.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure.
The title
definitely.
And I mean I think it shouldn't be too bold of a prediction. I think 2 women's title changes.
Yeah,
I believe so too.
You can't have Charlotte.
And then possibly after last night, a women's tag team title change in some way, shape, or form, because I do not see them holding it all the way to Mania, or if not dropping at Mania.
I can see
that's where Ronda and Shayna come in, probably.
Exactly, and that's my thing. Are you really going to put Becky and Lita against Shayna and Ronda?
No, because they'll wrestle on like SmackDown or something.
Yep.
And Damage Control will interfere so that Ronda and Shayna can take the women's titles from them.
And then you do the 6 women tag with
Trish.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes more sense.
That's a good idea.
Speaking of which, you notice that we haven't seen or heard from Nia Jax at all since the Rumble?
I honestly think that was it. I think it was a one and done, man.
They literally just paused the counts. They literally just there was no count outs, and they just paused it off. So that means we got a random surprise just for the Rumble because Nia Jax came out number 30, which is a stupid idea.
He's not. Listen, this kid is speaking the truth. They played the video. They played her Titantron thing, but instead of the countdown, and ruined the whole. If you could even call it a surprise, it's not a surprise. I mean,
Shane McMahon.
Just like Shane McMahon, very good.
The War Rumble 2022, and now 2023 Nia Jax for the women. It doesn't make sense.
This kid's educating us.
Oh my god!
I mean, if people are fired, Vince McMahon is come back. If Vince McMahon come back from retirement, But he's gonna fire more people that came back.
All right, so we're just gonna give him the. I'm just gonna let him do an hour,
Just
and then I
turn it
can
over
just sit
for-
and listen.
Oh my
That's
God, right?
fantastic.
Give
can't.
Alex the book.
Yeah, I mean, oh my God.
Oh, but wait, you guys want to hear something cool? Hang on. Hey, Alex,
What?
say Viking Raiders now.
Viking Raiders.
Yay!
Oh, it no longer sounds like you're swearing at people. Congratulations,
Exactly. He
Alex.
can say Viking Raiders now. That's a major accomplishment.
But we have one. I believe this is from Tara. She mentioned it in the group chat last night. Raw really surprised me last night. Didn't expect Lita and Becky to get it. I honestly thought if it was going to happen, it was going to happen at WrestleMania. But I guess if this is this is leading to something. So
Whose Facebook username is?
That's Tara, sweetheart.
yeah, we just
Okay.
don't. I can never figure this thing out and why I can't show anybody's names. I feel like it's an issue on my computer, but I don't know
No,
how
it's
to fix it.
Facebook. What happens when you're on Facebook, you have to click the button that gives you permission to show your name on StreamYard. So if they don't click it on the link, it says
Oh, okay.
Facebook user. It's
I thought it was
nothing
something I had to click that I wasn't
Nope,
clicking into.
not at all.
people.
Nope,
All
it
right,
has to do
all
with the
right.
person that's participating on Facebook.
Yeah,
Oh, thank
you have to
God.
give permission to StreamYard to be shown, so
What
it's
are
not.
I see.
What are you guys' thoughts on Lita? Because there's been a lot of comments about her being like kind of slow in the match and off her game and out of shape and shit like that.
Ring rust is real. I mean, how long has it been since she had a match?
I mean, it's been a long time since she's been in a full match,
I don't think she did too bad. My issue with a part of it was like, especially with like when towards the end of the match, like when she did the Hurricane Rana, I think Io Sky's too short and her legs are too long. That seemed to be like a lot of the timing issue, the height differential between the two of them. Because even when she went to do the moonsault at the end, you hear her telling Trish, she goes second rope or third rope, because she didn't think she was going to get it all the way around on that skinny little thing in the middle in the ring. I think it had a lot to do with the height more than the timing, because her timing did not look bad at all. She took every shot she produced. I just think that she's not used to wrestling with people smaller than her.
Yeah, and while we're at it with taller women, Charlotte, I've got some advice for you. Take a look at Io Shirai. That's how you do a moonsault. All right.
Io Shirai has the nicest.
I think it's because Charlotte is too big, too tall for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
She is.
At least for most of her opponents, the way
Yeah.
it doesn't land well.
But she's always been about taking those like the corkscrews and all that stuff. So that's her niche. I think it's different, but maybe she should take that out of her repertoire, but she's going to have to land something like that besides the figure eight to compete against Rhea, because she's got to do something, because Rhea's going to dominate her.
So back in a few years ago, they had an NXT, I think it was NXT 25 in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and one of the matches was Johnny Gargano's wife. Why can't I think of her name?
Candice LeRae.
Candice LeRae?
Yeah.
She was facing Io. And at one point, Io grabs like a chair and does a moonsault off the top with the chair. And we were there live. My mom, who, only watches, they watch wrestling when I'm not around, but only really watched wrestling because I was into wrestling. And we'll just kind of they don't look at it as deeply, my parents don't look at it as deeply as I do. But she goes, that's the best looking moonsault I've ever seen. And I mean, she's seen a lot of wrestling matches. So for her to say that is Io Shirai has a beautiful moonsault. Charlotte, I think, like you said, she's a little too long. By the time she gets like a quarter of the way through the flip, her legs are so long, they're almost touching the ground.
Yeah, she almost always gets to, lands on her feet instead of like on a splash kind of.
And it's probably from her gymnastics background too. You know what I mean?
I bet that helps.
You get trained to land on your feet in gymnastics for how many years, and then all of a sudden you got to change that around and land on your back or your stomach and take a bump. No, there's some survival instinct in your brain that kicks in. That's like, no.
We're not landing on our side. We're feet. No.
It's like when we get like the shooting star press. Like obviously Brock had done it before, but he fucked up at Mania and then almost broke his neck.
Yeah.
But you want to talk about one of the best, like Evan Bourne, I would say probably
Yeah.
had one of the best shooting stars. Like I know Kidman did it and a bunch of others did it, but I don't know. Evan Bourne, I think, was probably one of the best to do it.
Oh, shooting stars. Yeah, I mean Evan Bourne had such a clean one, and it didn't matter where. Like he could hit it. The only time he missed it was when the turnbuckle was slippery in that AEW battle royale.
Yeah,
and that's not his fault. He can.
But
I've seen him
then-
hit that from everywhere, man.
but then you got the into the RKO was amazing.
Oh, so great.
I miss Randy Orton.
Yeah.
There's speculation that he's coming back soon, right? I
What
mean, there
is-
was.
Does anyone know the status of AJ Styles?
I was.
Yeah, I
thinking
haven't
the
heard
same thing,
anything.
dude.
Like, is he? I guess he's missing Mania.
I was in the shower yesterday, racking my brain trying to think. I was like, "When's the last time I've seen AJ Styles get involved in anything? Like, where the fuck has he been?"
Like, I
I
almost
know he
wish-
got.
He got hurt at a house show.
Yeah, like I almost wish
wasn't
that
it
they
on
would have
Raw?
done AJ
No, it was a
versus
house show.
Edge.
I don't know.
It was a house show, but he came on to Raw like right afterwards, but wasn't really. So they beat him up on Raw because of
yeah.
the injury he took at the house show.
Yeah,
Right, and that's why he wasn't at the Rumble and beyond.
Yeah.
Well, that sucks.
How about another bad return for the Good Brothers with AJ going missing?
Those guys can't
Well,
catch
I
a
haven't
fucking
seen
break,
them
can
in
they?
weeks now either. There ain't nothing
mean,
wrong with them.
But there's no.
Isn't
There's
it in
no
their
part of their-
contracts they don't have to show up if they're not
they're not
scheduled?
booked. Yeah.
Oh, did Anderson ever end up losing that championship? In New Japan?
Yeah, I think he lost it to Tama Tonga or somebody. He lost it to somebody. It's back in New Japan hands now.
And what's with Sasha Mercedes? Is it Monet or Money? Because they keep saying Money.
I think it's supposed to be money, but to me, I mean, it's here she come now, say Monet, Monet. That's all I can see when I read her name. Is that old?
Yet her music is fucking like Jump by Crisscross.
Her music is just her going money over the top of the, and I want. Do you know how badly I want there to be other words than just a money in that song? Put other words in the song.
I agree.
Doop, 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 money. Doop, 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 money. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
You got to fill in fill in the blank. You got to fill in your own words.
Right, it's like
between the
Mad
money.
Libs.
It's like the Beatles. It's like the Beatles. Number nine. Number 9. Money. Money.
It really is, though. They don't know exactly how long her contract is or how many matches it's for in terms of like the actual raw number of matches. It's probably less than 10 matches, but like they're already talking about, oh, well, she's got 2 or 3 title defenses scheduled. She's probably going to drop it on one of these. And I'm like, you just had her beat, win the prestige. Like this is a new title that just got established within New Japan.
Right.
New Japan has never had a women's title before. And it was on what's her name, the pirate princess.
Kari Sane.
Yeah. So
Kairi
Kairi had it, and they had a very good match, and then Sasha won. But you would think then you would want Sasha to wrestle a bunch of fucking matches for you to establish the title before dropping it. Like she's gotta win, 3, 4, 5 of these, I think.
Her gear was a nice tribute to the late what was her name?
Hana Kimura.
Hana Kimura, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I thought that was nice. Her husband, Sarath, aka Mikaze, who you might have seen on Up, Up, Down, Down back in the day, is the head seamster for WWE now. He used to sew indie wrestling people's outfits. And then when Sasha got signed to WWE, he started making her outfits. And then WWE started paying him to make NXT and then main roster. And now he's the older lady who works at AEW now, who used to be the head costumer for WWE. He's got her job, I believe. He makes a lot of the costumes, and he made Sasha's or Mercedes to tribute Hana Kimura, who took her own life after negative backlash to an episode of a reality show that she was on, where the editing of the show intentionally made her kind of look like a bad guy in an episode, and the backlash was too much for like a girl in her early 20s, which is a lot to take in. The whole thing was a really tragic situation. So it's nice to see that, New Japan was cool with, the homage to it, that Sasha / Mercedes thought to do it. It was very, conscious of her and very cool of her to do that. So, all around, I'm happy with what Mercedes is doing right now. I want her, I want New Japan to take this opportunity, and Stardom and whoever she's wrestling to take the opportunity to make something out of this and be like, wow, we got this big talent.
Notable, like, big time women that are there right now, that, like, as far as like her future opponents and stuff?
I mean, I think one of them is Miyu Yamashita. I think there's a couple. I mean, there's a couple great Stardom talent, because Stardom is the one that's also owned by Bushi Road, that owns New Japan, that owns all these video. I think they own Namco Bandai. I don't know. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that this company owns. So I don't know off the top of my head, I don't remember her opponents, but she's got a couple that if you know women's Joshi wrestling in Japan, then you'd be like, oh, well, that's going to be a good match. But,
but they have Momo Watanabe too.
Yes. Okay. That might be the one that I was thinking of. Miyu was just on AEW. So I was thinking of Watanabe, probably what I'm thinking of.
And Mika Aquino, who was, if I remember correctly, she's in some relation to, she has some like genetic to Bull Nakano.
Oh, interesting.
I forgot how she's related to Bull Nakano, but I remember she was.
And I know Bull Nakano was.
That's someone I'd like to see in the Hall of Fame.
100%.
And I also liked Beth's tribute to her at Elimination.
Oh yeah, the gear and the face paint, that was nice.
Yeah, and Tara brought this up last night in the chat, one of the chat.
Oh yeah, the Hall of Fame.
Why don't we have any Hall of Fame
stuff
announced yet?
Yeah,
that is different.
Once again, Tara is right in the group chat. Where is our Hall of Fame announcements? Maybe they're not doing it anymore.
Oh my God, don't.
Maybe I might do it on March 31st.
March 31st, yeah.
Wow, he would know the date. But what I'm saying is
the fucking like Rick Martel.
Right, because here's the problem that they're running into is that every year they're like, we have to have a big class of this, that, and they try and like top the year before. So then there are so many inductions. Like, I would be so okay if the Hall of Fame was like 2 or 3 people every year, like it used to be.
Yeah.
Right, but they had said, because it was they had made a big deal about this like months ago, that since it was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood, like that they were finally going to give Batista his limelight spot, and then we haven't heard anything about, like, not that I have a problem if they forget about.
He was supposed to be inducted a few years ago, but it was during the COVID one, so he didn't want to have no audience.
He's not going to have one, even if he is getting inducted with a full audience, but that's okay. That's my disdain for Dave Batista. That's okay.
The 2 nights also made scheduling hard. I mean, you have Friday Night SmackDown, WrestleMania Saturday, NXT Saturday, and WrestleMania Sunday.
They made it work last year.
Monday. Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like, it's a tight. They might think that they're eating their own lunch by having SmackDown. How many people are going to stick around and watch the Hall of Fame, or are you just going to watch a Hall of Fame and miss out on SmackDown?
Well, then you know what? Make SmackDown a 2-hour live Hall of Fame on Fox.
Yeah. You can afford to do that to SmackDown.
Or do SmackDown, do induction. You can still do a couple matches, but do the inductions in between. You know what I mean? Do
you know how huge that would be? Because for anybody that doesn't have Peacock, I guarantee you WWE ratings, especially if you're talking about marketing for this buyout, this, selling the company and everything, you want to talk about good ratings for Fox. If they put the Hall of Fame live on a Friday night SmackDown, that would be huge.
I agree.
I mean, you never know what could happen. Wrong. You could have some random dude try to, tackle Bret Hart.
Oh my God,
That was
Can I tell
crazy
you-
watching that live with everybody.
It was.
Autumn was freaking out, crying when that happened. She's like, Britt can't be the next Owen. I was like, oh my God.
Oh man, yeah. If anything, because
Oh,
he
it's
already,
funny.
you know, he's had a stroke. You know, he's kind of an old man, not
Yeah.
an old man. You know what I mean? Like he's a frail
up
guy
there.
now.
All I know is that shot that Dash Wilder gave to that dude's face was
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
priceless,
And the way
man.
everyone rushed that, that guy. I mean, that was,
Oh,
that was
absolutely. That
Shane
was
He's
that
lucky
was
he
jumped
just
in.
escaped with
deserved.
his life.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you see Ronda Rousey in a dress and she starts tucking her dress into her pocket. I'm like, into her tights. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's how you know something's about to go down.
She's stuffing her dress. It's like, okay, when she does that, that's worse than a bitch pulling out her earrings.
Yo,
Okay.
Oh,
Big
could
hoops,
you imagine
big
if Ronda
hoops,
got
right?
her hands on him?
Yeah.
she would have choked him out.
Her husband ran in the ring and I was still more afraid of Ronda than I was her husband.
Your husband's a big motherfucker too.
But she's
Yeah.
scared. But like I said, she pushed Natalia out of the way and started stuffing her dress in her tights. I was like, oh God, this is going to be bad.
Not great.
Ronda's like, I'm going to war.
This motherfucker ain't got no chance. He's in a room full of wrestlers trying to do this shit, and Ronda Rousey's there, and she's gonna kill you.
There was
Shane jumped in right away. Braun, I think may have.
Oh yeah, everybody was on top of it. I just, why would you? Obviously, the guy, there's something wrong with that guy. But like, what compels you to do that?
I've
What's your
never
end game?
seen Big E go that fast in my life.
Yeah, that was
Other
that
than,
whole-
possible suicide by wrestlers.
Yeah, maybe that was the idea. He just
That
wanted
was
them
yeah.
to
They
kill
all
him.
suicide dived into the ring. You're right.
Just, this is how I'm gonna die. They're gonna kill me. I'm all right with this.
Yeah.
Right. What a bozo.
But you know what? Regarding the Hall of Fame, unfortunately, and this is, we've been dealing with this for the last 30 years or so. There's a lot of people that should have been in the Hall of Fame before they died. There's too many posthumous Hall of Famers, like the future Hall of Famers, like Bam Bam or Bundy or someone like that, that have passed
Vader
away.
was a big one.
Yeah, like Vader was the biggest probably one that should have went in before he died. But but there's, I don't know.
Macho
I
Man should have gone in before he died.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Well,
Bruno
Macho
got
Man
killed.
at least had a. It was an accident. Vader, they knew his time. He was
Right.
limited time,
The
and they still
was,
didn't.
The eeriest was Warrior because like 2 days
Oh,
later
yeah.
he
Right.
died.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Like he died. Like he came out on Raw, did that promo. Tuesday
That's
morning, he's
Still
dead.
the creepiest promo. Every man's
Right.
heart beats for the last time. It's like, what the fuck?
It's almost
Real.
like he knew,
Yeah, I was gonna say I would love to know what was going through his head during that promo.
I don't know. And I don't even like the guy.
No offense.
I mean,
It would just be fascinating to know what he was processing at the moment.
what was going through his head? Steroids and a blood clot.
Thank you, Nancy Grace.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Oh my god, I think I might die.
Okay, I normally win for most controversial comment of the night.
That one was
You
bad.
have
I
done
apologize.
steroids and a blood clot in 9/11. You win.
I know. Yeah,
You
Eric,
win.
Eric, you missed it earlier. I said Brock versus Omos is our personal 9/11.
Steve's listening to the podcast and he's just like,
Steve's like, we're deleting this one. He's like, Ryan, don't even
Steve,
upload
we will
this
accept
one. to the
our
thing.
resignation papers, our pink slips. You could send them via email. We'll accept them that way.
I want mine FedEx.
On your wedding day.
Yep.
But
With all your shit in a garbage bag.
That's
But
it.
I wouldn't mind though a more streamlined Hall of Fame with like you get your main event guy, like the end of the night, your mid Carter, your tag team, your woman, boom, done, and then your Warrior Award.
Why
Is the
not just
model-
have one or two wrestlers every year, or tag team?
Yeah.
And just instead
keep it
of
small.
putting 6 people on there and running out of talent,
Who's
then
someone
you having to
that-
throw in randoms.
Who's someone you think that should get the Warrior Award? Because they finally had given it to Shad, which they gave it to him the year after he should have gotten it because they gave it to Titus, which was found like odd, but whatever.
He does a lot of work, though.
I was gonna say Titus
Well,
is
yeah,
an
good
job.
after work for the WWE and everything is
Yeah,
actually
he's a good advocate. Yeah,
who
But
is
I mean,
the
I'd say he earned that, to be honest.
So go see Boston.
Yeah, I don't know who behind the scenes right now, because I mean the original intention from the Warrior was that it was to honor people backstage at WWE, that the unsung heroes.
they should have
Why
given
not
it
the
to like Jim
Stooges?
Johnston a couple of years ago.
Oh, Jim Johnston would be a good one. I know he probably doesn't have the best relationship, or maybe he feels some kind of way about it, but like that would be a great guy to honor with a Warrior Award or an induction into the Hall of Fame, because without Jim Johnston, there's no a lot of stuff. There's no Attitude Era. You don't have the same feel and the same music.
or if they go the route like what they've been doing over the years, maybe someone as a representative from like the Susie G. Komen.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Sometimes
Joan London.
they do
I mean,
that.
like say what you want about her or whatever, but like Joan London does a lot of ambassador work with the WWE when they do those combined things for like, for the breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
And it's everyone's like, Joan London, what does she got to do with the WWE? If like you were talking about before about knowing the backstage stuff and everything,
Yeah.
she is huge. She does huge work with the WWE for the breast cancer awareness stuff.
Oh wow. Well, that's not a bad choice either.
I was at.
Yeah,
that
I would
Hall
know
of
I
Fame.
have tits,
I
so
remember
yeah.
I was at that Hall of Fame one.
Which
I
one?
had to up you, Vince. I'm
That
sorry.
No, I know,
That
it's
was
fine.
that was Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Dallas. Was that the
You know
year?
what? I just thought of another one that would actually make a fantastic Warrior Award really quick before we head
What's
out.
that?
Who's that?
DDP.
Yeah,
DDP
I
definitely.
agree.
The DDP
He
yoga
saved some
videos and
lives.
everything he's done. He's the RIP Scott Hall. But he's the reason that Jake and Scott Hall
Right.
got to where they were to be clean and do all the stuff and everything. Like he legit saved their lives more than once.
Hey, he bought how many years for Scott Hall?
Yeah.
A decade probably.
And that
Yeah.
would be pretty cool, actually, to have like a regular Hall of Fame induction, which he's gotten, plus a Warrior Award. That would be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
And not for nothing,
That'd
when
be
Jake
first.
got his induction, who's the first person he went to and told?
Yeah.
He went to DDP and told, which, by the way, if you guys have not seen Jake's biography on Sunday night from
Yeah.
Sunday, holy shit.
Yeah.
I bet.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
I haven't either, but I really want to.
It made Beyond the Mat look tame, talking about some of the
wow.
stuff
I
that
can
he
only
did.
imagine.
Damn.
Beyond the Mat was very tame compared to some of the stuff
So
that he
did they go even further with like the Grizzly Smith stuff?
They went with the Grizzly Smith stuff. Rockin' Robin was on there talking about how
Yeah.
I don't even think he even knew that I was his sister wrestling and everything
Right, Sam
sometimes.
Houston.
About okay, he literally talked about when he said that he was going to leave and everything and he was going down and decided to move the family back down to Georgia. The daughter that was in Beyond the Mat, I can't remember her name, but now she's a full-grown adult, and she was like, I literally after 20 minutes had to drive for them because he had been snorting cocaine for 3 hours and
Oh
wanted
my
to drive the
god.
car still snorting the cocaine. So I got in the driver's seat so that he could snort for the 12-hour drive. 12 hours of freaking snorting cocaine.
There's a movie with a bear and cocaine.
Damn.
Going
Yeah,
on
cocaine bear is a new thing. Yeah.
Like he was talking about like the whole Randy Savage thing, like, with the snake bite and everything
Did
like
he talk
that.
about the honky tonk man at all? Like that
Talked about the
guitar?
honky tonk man. Talked
Wow.
about how, which is something else I never understood. I never knew that the slap heard round the world.
on
Yeah.
Elizabeth?
He was not supposed to make contact with her.
Oh.
That's why he stomped his foot so hard in the ring. And that's why
Oh,
you always
geez.
heard the bullhorn in the back, because they were actually calling an exit the fact that he actually made contact with Elizabeth. He said, Randy Savage tried to kill me that night.
Oh, I'm sure, dude.
Yeah, he was not
can't
supposed to make
imagine.
contact with her face.
Oh boy. I would not want to be the guy trying to cool down Randy Savage.
And then they
Yeah.
Right.
they didn't do that again until Jericho punched out Shawn's wife.
Right, but do you
Yeah.
remember, because of that Tuesday in Texas, you remember when he slapped her, there was still
Oh,
the
yeah.
foot punch. So
Yeah.
you heard this loud bump, but it was his foot. And then when she did that and turned around, that's why he looks at his bed like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, he's like, his life flashed before his
Because
eyes.
if you
He's like,
actually watch
Serious.
the
it was nice
reel,
living.
because then I had to go put Tuesday in Texas right back on after I saw this. I'm like going to my Peacock for my Tuesday in Texas.
Yeah.
And he looked, and it was just like the look of death on his face. And when Randy is being escorted back, and you see him saying, like, what's the matter? What happened? She's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Because he's like, Elizabeth was trying to protect me from
my
getting
God.
killed.
Elizabeth.
Was actually hitting her.
But we look at Jake's life, and yes, thanks to DDP, he's alive. Because he, if you really think about it, Jake should have died like a number of times.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's how bad and messed up he was.
I think even Jake would, Jake would tell you that.
Well,
And then this Sunday was one as China.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so that one's going to be another tearjerker.
I was going to say they're telling all happy stories, aren't
That's
they?
an intense one.
Oh my God.
So people talk about okay, Triple H has been in creative power, but really think about Brock versus Omos. That's a Vince McMahon thing.
Yep, that's what we were talking about before.
It really is. It seems like it, dude.
Tell me Vince is back without telling me Vince is back.
Well, if we get a battle royal, we know Vince is back. If we get a battle royal and Mojo Rawley shows up, we definitely know Vince is back.
Oh my God.
No, if Gronk comes in.
Yeah. That's it. It'll be Gronk. Oh my God.
I mean, he's been retired for a bit now.
Still the funniest thing ever when they were trying to teach for that. Don't even remember what number it was. The COVID WrestleMania. And Vince is showing him how to jump off to take the shot.
Yeah.
And Gronk's like, I don't want to jump that far. Well, too bad.
And a 7-year-old goes and does it and is like, what?
Wait, well, what? Okay, you want me to show you again?
Yeah, Logan Paul will come in and do that bump in his sleep.
Oh, yeah, 1,000 times.
I still hate the guy's face, but he and Seth are going to put on a show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a bad match. Not at
Listen,
all.
we all knocked the Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn thing happening last year. We're like, oh my God, how can we watch this? How can you watch? That was the funniest shit. And it was such an entertaining match because they utilized all the right stuff. Seth and Logan are going to do the same thing.
And did you guys discuss what potentially Sammy's going to end up doing besides the obvious?
I mean,
Kata brought up a possible
triple threat.
I mean, because they're still doing the Jey Uso thing where he's not in the bloodline. That's been interesting.
But see, here's the other angle that I've heard. I've also heard Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa versus Jay and Sammy.
You mean Jimmy and
Solo
Jimmy and
Solo versus Jay and Sammy.
Jay and Sammy, right?
That'd be interesting.
Which makes sense considering one Uso is a tag champion, the other Uso is the other tag champion.
Well, technically, Sammy's the other tag champion because Sammy is the one that got the pin on the last match with the Usos defended the tag titles 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Where would it leave Owens, though? I mean, he's still floating in the feud.
Oh, God, they could triple threat him with Roman and Cody. Fuck.
Oh, no. They wouldn't. Well, then, that would be how Cody wins, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
What about this? What about if they add Sammy to Roman Cody and make it a triple threat, right?
Yeah.
But then the tag match is Jimmy and Solo versus Jay and Kevin Owens.
I mean, maybe.
That's interesting, but you'd have to
convince Sammy would have to convince Kevin.
Yeah. And it would only end up in a swerve anywhere where both Usos are back on terms,
That's what we're hoping doesn't happen. That's what we thought. Everybody thought was going to happen at the last pay-per-view. Luckily,
Yeah.
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Luckily, it didn't.
And Sammy's supposed to get like another shot at Roman soon in March. I heard.
Yeah,
Oh,
in
oh.
Canada at a house show.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Oh God.
Oh, it's going to be like when Jacques Rougeau was able to beat Hulk Hogan because it was in Montreal, and
Yeah, but are they trying to have an if Cena wins, we riot type
Yeah, but they
situation?
didn't. Like,
They're playing with
lost
fire.
they should have done it that night, and then now they're just like, oh no, we can just force feed Cody to everybody because there's still a certain there's a lot of people who support Cody.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
look,
but they're going to turn Cody into Roman Reigns if they keep up with this shit while the Sami Zayn momentum is going. They're going to make him the Roman of the past.
Yeah, but you know what? All these internet geniuses say that Cody's fine, and there's no such thing as fans that are gonna boo Cody. They don't exist in WWE. That's AEW fans that were booing Cody. WWE fans like Cody now for some reason, when 3 years ago he couldn't wrestle and he was terrible and nobody liked him and he was never going to be a world champion and all this. But then all of a sudden he signs his new contract with WWE and they're all big Cody fans.
3
again.
years ago, it was a year ago. It was just before. It was literally January of last year, just before WrestleMania, that they were still knocking Cody.
I was saying like the start of it was like 3 years. The AEW.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying the AEW fans.
Yeah, leading up to January, they were still talking shit about him. Yeah,
I don't know how true.
We called him the Nickelback of wrestling last year, just before WrestleMania.
And I don't know how true this is, but apparently Cody was like last minute in the Rumble this year because like he wasn't. I heard he was like, good to go.
He wasn't
that
cleared.
night.
Yeah. That was that whole thing like that night when Steve's friend was like, oh yeah, he's going to be number 1 or number 2. I'm like, they just cleared him 2 days ago.
Yeah.
They're putting him in at the end. They can't risk that.
But based on Sammy's popularity, I feel like they should have called an audible and had Sammy win the Rumble in the first place and maybe do Cody next year or something.
Yeah,
it's got to be in Cody's contract that he's got to have to cash in and belt within the first year.
I don't have a problem with Cody winning and getting this match. However, based on what's happening in the popularity of Sami Zayn, it's going to be an issue, and it's going to be something that they have to look at. But
right.
Well, what's going to happen when someone changes their mind changes the outcome of a match on WrestleMania Sunday?
Well, look, let's say Sammy does get added to that match, right? Okay, he'll be in the main event, but are fans going to still be upset if Cody wins and Sammy doesn't?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's Cody's fucked either way.
Yep.
Whether Sammy's in the match or not.
Yepers. Like I said it before. He's got the Daniel Bryan momentum.
The only other thing I could think of, and while I'm not a fan of this because I like one world title, there's the possibility of Roman drop having one against Sammy and one against Cody.
Yeah, but maybe. But I mean, we were talking about it earlier.
The other problem with that is like who gets night 2.
Oh no! I say you do a triple threat. Jericho, Angle, and Benoit rules. And
that's the other way. 2 titles, 2 falls.
And he doesn't get pinned either fall. And he goes away for a couple months.
That's a good call too.
And then when he comes back, you have the intrigue of which title is he going to go after first.
Right. Here's another thing. Yeah. Never mind. I forgot. I lost my train of thought already.
Oh man, he was so close.
Damn it! I had something. Oh well.
You'll get it eventually.
It'll come to you. You can send us a message.
It's out of my head
later. But I mean, we're at the top of the hour. Well, we went a little past the top of the hour because we started late. So, anything else anybody wants to discuss before we wrap things up here?
Was there any AEW stuff?
Well, AEW's Revolution pay-per-view is what, Saturday?
Saturday, yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah, I mean they had a show that set it up.
Card for it.
The card.
I
let's see.
wasn't really paying. I haven't really been paying attention that much lately.
I know the main event is Danielson against
Right,
MJF
versus
for the
MJF,
title.
right.
You got the Bucks versus the House of Black as
For
well.
the trios title.
Yeah.
We've got Jamie Hayter in a triple threat against Saraya and Ruby Soho.
I'd love to see Ruby with a championship.
Right. Chris Jericho against Ricky Starks.
That should be good.
Samoa Joe defending the TNT championship against Wardlow. We got a Texas death match, John Moxley against Hangman Adam Page.
That'll be a bloodbath.
I mean, it's going to be. I mean, Wednesday nights are already a bloodbath, so imagine what a pay-per-view is going to be.
Yeah.
And then the last match they have scheduled here. Hey. Stupid cat. Scratching the back of my chair is the Guns, the current AEW tag team champions, holy shit, versus the Acclaimed, Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett, and it's going to be a four-way match, four corners. One of the last one is going to be another casino battle royale on Wednesday.
Ooh.
My guess, and this is purely a guess, is that the Jokers in this battle royale, because everybody's dealt a suit of cards or whatever, the Joker always comes out last. I think FTR are the Jokers. They come out, they eliminate everybody. They're in that four-way match. You know, they get their tag team titles somehow.
I'd like that.
I would be okay with that too. Like I think, you know, them, you know, they dropped all of the other titles I think that they needed to drop.
It's like you said, Vince, like a few shows ago, like that's probably why the Guns got the belts, because they didn't want to do Acclaimed versus FTR because of the fans.
Yeah, exactly. And how, you know, how the fans would respond to it. Exactly.
So, you know.
No, it would be it would be pretty shitty if it was just like two big baby face teams. So having a four-way, it kind of, you know, and it's one of those things where, you know, Jay Lethal or Jeff Jarrett could get pinned by FTR and FTR wins, and then like the Guns and the Acclaimed both want to wrestle FTR again. You know what I mean? So there's ways it could lead to future matches depending on what happens.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, Revolution is this Sunday. We just, you know, we briefly read down the card. I'm controversial opinion. I think that Bryan Danielson, and when have you ever heard me say this? I think Bryan Danielson should win.
Really?
On Sunday.
I wouldn't hate it.
Over?
I would like to see Bryan Danielson having a title run.
Why is that exactly? I'm curious.
All right, so I think MJF needs to lose the title to show that here's my as a matter of evolving and maturing MJF as a performer and as a character.
Okay.
If he loses this Iron Man match, and it doesn't have to be like by a big margin, it could even be by one fall. But if he loses, then all of that, I'm a champion, I'm a this, I'm a that, is all talk. All this blustery stuff is suddenly gone. And now you've got kind of an MJF with a crisis of faith. Am I as good as my smack talk, you know, speculates that I am and says that I am, that kind of shit.
So only for him to be built back up eventually?
Right, because I just don't. I feel like, unfortunately, the title win that was supposed to happen for MJF beating CM Punk and all this stuff, because it never came about. Regal helped MJF win. He gives MJF this shiny new belt, and then gets attacked and leaves. And like whatever storyline they were planning for that was gone. So like I just feel like in order to kind of reinvigorate MJF, I think that because otherwise it's MJF's music plays, he comes down to the ring. Oh, why don't you people in whatever town shut up? All of your women are fat and they're whores. And hey, bud, hey, how's it going there, dude? Hey, something nickname for the guy that I'm going to use 8 times in a promo. Something Johnny something. Johnny fights. Johnny bleeds. He bleeds a lot. And it's just like, I don't know, dude. I feel like he needs to become. He right now he's like young 20s MJF, and he needs to be middle 20s or late 20s MJF. We need to see what that guy is.
You know,
it's the classic one. Oh, God.
Yeah, and I'm honestly surprised that he hasn't turned on his Long Island crowds yet.
Yeah, I think
or
that's
is
gonna
that
be
something
hard
they
to
don't
do.
want to do? I don't know.
No, I wouldn't want to do it either, really. Because
The Long Island crowd ain't gonna give two shits if he tries
they're
to
not.
turn
They're
on
not
them
gonna.
or not anyway.
They're gonna do what they want to do.
But again,
right?
like that, I like that though, because it reminds me of like Bret Hart getting cheered in Canada and everywhere else and only booed in the US. That was great.
Exactly.
He ain't, as I say, you know this better than anybody. If we got our hometown hero, what the hell was that, Vince?
I'm stretching. I don't know.
I do. I thought it sounded like one of your cats or something for a second.
Oh, I like
Oh,
Vince's
me.
jellyfish background.
The clickety clackety.
Yeah, you heard that too?
That's Henry. He wanted to go out and he.
Oh, it
followed
was
me.
your
Oh, okay.
okay.
All
I
right.
only see is him moving, and then I hear the noise. So my bad.
I move and make a noise when I stretched. Oh my god.
But no, the Long Island crowd doesn't give two shits. It's like, it's like the Billy Joel, Mariah Carey, hell, even Amy Fisher, Mary Jo Buttafuoco. They don't turn on anybody from Long Island.
Yeah, it's kind of like Montreal is a very interesting crowd,
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know this better than anybody, Eric. Does anybody ever talk bad about Amy Fisher on Long Island?
I don't know.
No one ever talks about what happened. It's like, oh, Amy Fisher, oh, yeah, she's from where we're from. That's all they ever say.
Who's Amy
Yeah,
Fisher?
leaves out.
Don't worry about it.
Do I have to do Googling?
Yeah,
my Joey.
My Joey.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that remembers that.
No, but wait, but no, Vince, but look, my Joey.
Yeah, you have to do it out of the same.
Mary Jo Buttafuoco.
Yeah, Mary Jo Buttafuoco, exactly.
That's Shane.
Such an old nobody's gonna get that. That's great.
Oh, what a...
Do you know that do you know that Mary Jo Buttafuoco and Amy Fisher are actually, Joey Buttafuoco and Amy Fisher are actually together now?
Oh,
Really?
that's.
They freaking live in Vegas together.
Well, wow.
Who's Amy Fisher?
Don't worry about it. Well,
The girl that put the bullet in Mary Jo's face that she talked like this.
Oh.
we shouldn't make fun of Mary Jo. She got shot in the face.
Well, she didn't shoot her. She hit her with the gun and it went off.
Accidents happen.
But she still took a bullet to the
It's
like,
a
I
little
mean, we
more
shouldn't
like Tanya Harding and
Why me? That's how I feel right now with Omos and Brock Lesnar. Why me?
that's how we all feel.
Oh, don't get me started with
Somebody please take something to my leg and my brain so I don't have to freaking think about this match.
Oh, word.
that. Stick Omos in catering, please.
Thank you. Omos doesn't even deserve to be on Mania, let alone in a match against Brock's caliber.
The only thing he
Right.
was at Mania was that tag team match with the New Day versus AJ Styles, and all he did was throw them around, and that was entertaining.
Fair.
And again, the only thing we're expecting from that is just the visual of the F5 on Omos. That's it.
It's gonna take Omos longer to get to the freaking ring than the match.
Yeah.
Who's gonna be slower, the Undertaker or Omos?
Undertaker needs his Geritol, but that's an entirely different
You
story.
know what? Honestly, Undertaker could come out and still put on a better match than Omos.
Well,
Probably.
yeah. I mean, you could say that about a lot of people. I'm sure Nicholas could come out and make a re-debut and have a better match than Omos.
But I do hope that Jerry Lawler finally decides to hang it up.
I mean,
Because
he might not have a choice, man.
That was a really
Yeah.
close call. That like the heart attack 10 years ago was one thing, but this is,
What happened?
That's now the second time that the man's
and he's in
literally
his,
Yeah.
died
early
and been
70s.
brought back.
Yeah.
What happened?
The stroke he had.
He had a stroke?
I told you this.
I'm short-term memory loss. My bad.
But meanwhile, Hacksaw has conquered cancer 3 times and a home invasion.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God,
crazy.
he's so funny about that home invasion. Have you seen any of his interviews about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it on Fox. It was
Yes,
funny.
on Tucker Carlson. Oh my God, that was funny. When Tucker Carlson can't even talk, you know you have an amazing guest because all he's doing there is just laughing hysterically. He could not even get any words out of his mouth.
It was a good story.
Nobody comes to my house. I thought it was a bear. I thought it was a bear at first.
Yeah, what was that from? Is it going?
No. We should probably end this now.
All right. Yeah. Before we need to stop.
You sound like Max Headroom.
All right. Well, shit.
It was Ryan because now he stopped it. It's gone.
Oh wow. All right. Well, shit.
Oh my god, it was Max Headroom. Oh my god.
It's another old. We're just an old. You guys are all every wrestling fan under a certain age is gonna have to Google this shit later. It's funny. Trust
just watch Back to the Future. They'll fucking figure it out.
Right.
Yeah.
He's hot.
I'll have a Pepsi free.
Yo.
Pepsi Perfect, please. Yep.
You gotta pay for Pepsi.
Manure. Why does it always gotta be manure?
A menorah?
No, not a menorah. Manure.
Oh.
I give up.
I know. Oh man.
I don't want to hear.
So we probably should get out of here since we went a little bit longer because
Technical difficulties.
you know, I couldn't figure out how to do the streaming thing.
Wasn't your fault. It's the daylight savings time thing. You're thinking about it way too far in advance.
I know. I was putting I literally clicked I was just doing it. I was like, 7 o'clock. Like, yeah, maybe it was an hour, like a daylight savings, or I was thinking about our old show time, which it was for like years, but now it's been 6 o'clock for a couple of years now. I should be used to it. I don't know.
You don't do this every week, sweetheart. You're okay.
Right. The thing, I don't set the stream up every week. So,
You still get your gold star and everything. It's okay. You know, this is
like the treasure chest.
this is the decade of, this is the year of positivity. We give it, even last place gets a trophy. So you're okay.
Oh,
You got a
perfect.
participation trophy.
That's all I need.
Vince-a-mania.
Running wild, me and Omos. Yeah. Well, we should wrap up.
I'd still pay to see you more than Omos. I would rather. So
Well, thank you. I would too. I would hope so.
I would too.
I'd rather watch my pinky wrestle than watch Omos wrestle.
I get it.
I didn't think she was going to say
have the
pinky
thumb
first.
wrestlers.
What do you think I was gonna say?
Oh no. Oh boy. Yeah, we should probably we'll head out because we went an hour 20 plus right now. So we'll close out for this week. I think we've kind of covered all of our bases. WrestleMania, AEW Revolution. We'll talk about the fallout from Revolution. We'll talk about Cody's appearance on SmackDown, the first time confronting Roman Reigns in the ring, presumably. All that next week, next Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern Time on the next edition of the War Report. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and sticking with us. I want to thank Tara and the other contributors in the live chat for sending their messages through. If you want to follow us on social media, it's at TagMeADate. That's at TagMeADate, no spaces. It's all one word. We're on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Periscope and all kinds of stuff. So just look for at TagMeADate. We broadcast on Twitch as well. That's the only different one. It's twitch.tv/War Report. That's WARREPORT, War Report. And if you prefer the audio version, well, you can go to our archive on YouTube. You can go to our YouTube channel. Just type in Tag Me a Date in the search bar. You can hit subscribe and then hit the bell to get notified when we go live or upload a new video. Same thing with Twitch. You can favorite us on Twitch and catch the old streams there as well. Catch the old streams on the YouTube. Keep up with our social media for updates on stuff. And if you prefer the audio version of the podcast rather than the video version, that's the important part. If you prefer the audio version instead of the video version, you can go to your favorite podcast app like Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts. Type in the War Report, type in Tag Me Date. You're going to find the podcast. If you do type in the War Report, there are 2 wrestling podcasts called the War Report, but you'll notice by the graphic or the icon and then the description below that it's going to be us. Hit subscribe, and Ryan gets the audio version of this podcast uploaded very shortly after the show goes off the air. So within usually an hour or less. We're just as good as Pizza Hut, maybe slightly better. We deliver audio directly to your podcast feed, so you can take it with you and listen to it whenever you want.
That's a sacrilege to any New Yorker to compare anything to a Pizza
I know, right? Confucius say, "Never pay for cold pizza."
Thank you, Michelangelo.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right. I had to make sure I got that quote right. And with that,
You got it.
That'll do it. Spread the word of Tag Me a Date. Spread the word of the War Report. If you enjoy our show, tell your friends who are also wrestling fans to tune in or to subscribe to the podcast feed, because we're going to be talking all things WrestleMania. I'll have AEW Revolution coming up. This is a good time to catch up on a wrestling podcast or get involved in a wrestling podcast, because there's a lot to talk about. And, this is the exciting time of the year to be a wrestling fan. So tell your friends, share the link. And, hopefully we'll see a bunch of you next week, next Tuesday, 6 p.m. on Eastern time for another live edition of the War Report, brought to you by Tag Me a Date. And with that, I guess we'll say goodnight, everybody. All right, everybody.
Das Vidonia.
Yeah. Boom.